So I was able to get a sneak peek of the new Wix Studio editor. Let's talk about it. My name is Anthony Johnson. I am a real estate agent turned founder. I'm an entrepreneur. Just to give you some background, so before we talk about this, I started out as a real estate agent and I ended up becoming a web designer because I wanted to create my own website. I started with the original Wix editor, which turned into me learning Editor X, which Editor X turned into Wix Studio. So I've already had some experience with transitioning within Wix, or an entrepreneur that turned into a web designer / developer, which goes into a point that I'm gonna make later on in regards to all the AI and the code, the vibe coding stuff. So I started this journey in 2018, maybe 2019. I turned into a developer / designer. I spent more time creating my platform or my website. At the time, I turned a regular real estate website into a web app, which was something that I used with my clients. I ended up doing white label work for agencies as I realized that I was pretty good at web design. And that turned into me creating templates. When the template marketplace launched, I was there from the start. I ended up becoming the #1 seller in regards to sales. And I also got second place in regards to a hackathon. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to Wix Studio. I've been there from the start. And I've also built 2 web apps using Claude Code and Cursor. So I have pretty much an overall view of with everything that's going on in regards to the different tools. I've also played with Framer a little bit, and Webflow a real little bit. So that's just to give you some background in regards to who I am. And so if you're like listening to me, you're like, oh, what does this guy know? So let's just jump right into it, right? So I can't speak to specific features or anything like that. I was able to get a small sneak peek of some of the things that they're working on. And if you don't know me, if you're a Wix partner that's in the community, you probably heard of me, and you will know that I'm very, very not critical, but I'm vocal. So I honestly thought that I've been waiting for some Wix updates for a while, and I thought they forgot about us. Wix Harmony came out, and I thought they just wasn't thinking about us. And then I spoke to my success manager, and she kept telling me like, hey, don't worry, something's coming. They're working on some things. Someone in our community, my man Noah, also was like, hey man, just something's coming. And I just was like, I'm not seeing nothing. I don't think anything is coming. And boy, was I wrong. So let's just talk about it. I have some notes here. And again, first thing I want to say is that what I saw was early. The final release can look completely different. So I'm not making any promises on Wix's behalf. They just showed me some stuff, and this is my reaction. Now, the editor is going to be built from the ground up. Now, if you are a Wix Studio creator, you hear that, you probably want to get annoyed. And I want to say that it's done purposely with intention, and it's completely necessary. Without getting into too many details, Wix is going into a different direction, into a direction that I believe that they should be going into. And in that direction, they're going to be building things, or allowing us to build things that is more on par with industry standards versus their own stuff. So what we'll be able to be creating is stuff that's like being created from scratch. It's going to be generating code that is more along the lines with industry standards. So that's one of the reasons why I believe that they, wanted to create a new foundation. And with the AI stuff, instead of just putting the AI stuff in the editor, which they've already been playing around with, I've been using the AI stuff for the CSS and the right code, and it was okay. The betas was okay. So what I saw was an editor. It was a lot of what I expected, to be honest. And I've played around with the new Framer that was released like about a week or 2 ago. And the new Framer editor is pretty cool. And, all I cared about was what Wix was going to do. So Wix is, definitely building something that you can expect to be pretty good. What I saw was, what we are accustomed to with this, you can start with a prompt, you can start with a template, or you can start with a blank page. Now, the great thing about this is that you're able to you have full customization. Nothing is really changing in regards to how we can design. The UI in the editor is going to be a bit different. There are some new features that's coming within the editor that is going to allow us to be a bit more creative without leaving the editor. And it's going to be right on the canvas. So we have that aspect, just the complete update to the editor. The UI, of course, is a lot better. Something that I'm excited for is dark mode. I create and design in dark mode. So that's something that I saw. In regards to design and AI, if you don't want to use AI, you don't have to. You can completely do everything that you're currently used to in regards to designing and developing without AI. But when you want to, you're going to use what you're used to in regards to a chatbot, and you're able to generate sections, you're able to generate pages, you're able to generate a site, a starting point. For me, AI is great for a starting point. And with my experience with using Cursor and Claude Code, there's been so many times where I'll create something and generate something. And I believe that with AI as a designer, and like I said before, or if I didn't say it, I don't consider myself as a traditional designer or developer. I learned with trial and error. I didn't go to no classes. I didn't take any courses. I just started to build my own thing and then learn from that. I've had so many times when I was working on my 2 other web apps where I want to just jump in and design something, but you have to prompt it. So that's the new way of designing, is prompting. And I believe that designers and developers will have a leg up in regards to that, because designers and developers should be able to describe things a bit better. So you're going to be able to use the prompts to generate things, to change things, to update things. And you're also going to be able to design things manually. So that's something that I was expecting. My biggest thing is I wanted Wix Studio and Base 44 to come together. Being able to generate mobile versions of the site is going to be a lot easier. Wix Studio already had a AI tool to generate the mobile breakpoint. This is going to be a lot better. And let me just think. I don't have everything in my notes. I'm trying to think just off the top of my head of what I can remember. It's everything that I want. The ecosystem. So one of the things about Wix Studio, and the reason why I choose Wix Studio over the other platforms, is the ecosystem. Especially when you're designing websites for small businesses, they have so many different tools that small businesses can use all in one place. And I like what we're in the direction that they're going into in regards to the AI stuff and the new editor and the Wix business tools. It's a lot more seamless. The thing that is lacking with these other editors is that they don't have that full-blown ecosystem. You got to plug and play. And as someone that has built with Cursor and Claude Code, it is a lot. And I see a lot of people that have no skills that's just jumping into doing this. From my own experience, I'm someone that's considered tech savvy. It is a lot of work when it comes to making updates, deploying, committing, GitHub. I still don't know what GitHub is. I know I have not to use it, but I still don't know what I'm doing. When it comes to pushing out the new updates and the branches and all that stuff, hosting, that's why I prefer an editor. I went ahead and used and did the custom stuff because I wanted to figure that stuff out. But there's been a couple of times where I'm like, I just want to go back and just have an editor, because I don't want to spend so much time on creating, and it's not just straightforward when it comes to making an update. So that's why, I still choose Wix Studio over doing like Claude Code and Cursor, especially for small businesses where, you just need a site, and then you can build upon that. If you want to build something bigger, you can. So overall, I'm just trying to sit here and look through my notes. It's going to be great. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's going to be the best editor, but it's going to be the best editor. But yeah, so in regards to how I think the transition is going to go, like I said, I've been through the transition from Editor X to Wix Studio, and the way it went was Editor X and Wix Studio lived alongside of each other, and then they released a migration tool which migrated it. I personally I did it, but I just rebuilt my site because I needed to do a redesign anyway. So I expect the same thing with the new editor. And again, I know that a lot of people who within the Wix community is probably going to be annoyed with the fact that they have to migrate again, but this has to be done. This is definitely necessary. I'm going to expect the same pattern when it comes to that. They're going to most likely allow us to create new sites with the new editor, and then create a migration tool where we can migrate our sites over to the new editor. And in regards to what I'm doing, I have about 75 templates in the marketplace, and I have other templates that I'm working on. I plan on continuing to, release new templates. I'm just going to start making updates, and I'm going to prepare for, whether it's me recreating these templates. And when it comes to templates, I personally think that the market's going to shrink, but it's still going to be a market. From what I'm seeing with Framer, people are still creating templates. I think it's going to be a lot of AI generated templates, which, it is what it is. I think that people will still opt to use templates, whether it's to just start off from a certain place. They might it's because when you're creating a new site, you start typically with an inspiration. So it's easier to start with the inspiration of the template versus, just starting from scratch sometimes. And I do think that there will still be some type of market, but I do think that it will shrink. And I'm still going to continue to build templates because I like to make products. And it's easier for me as someone that is building multiple businesses to be creative and to just put things out and to allow people to purchase them. So we'll see how the template marketplace turns out. I'm hoping that they make some updates with the marketplace as well. And that's pretty much it. That's my honest take on, the new Wix Studio. I'm very excited about it. I'm not sure when it's going to come out. I know it's coming soon. I'm hoping this year. If you're still watching the video in regards to this channel, I'm going to be sharing all the things that I'm creating, the things that I'm doing, share some things about my life. And, I will share things about Wix Studio. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, whether it's, just building tools and, my workflows and my process, I plan on sharing how I ended up selling over $70,000 worth of templates on Wix Studio. I'm working on the playbook, and I'm thinking about adding video to that stuff. So drop any questions in the comments, share what you want to see in regards to the new Wix Studio, and I'll see you in the next video.